So, when you hear the word Somalia, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For a lot of us, it's probably headlines about conflict and instability. But in this explainer, we're going to go way beyond that narrative. We're diving into a powerful, resilient, and frankly, vibrant story that's unfolding right now. The story of a nation's cultural rebirth, told through its art.
And a great place to start is with just one person, a poet so revered, so central to the Somali identity that people gave him what is, maybe the highest praise a writer can get. This is Mohammed Ibrahim Warsame, but he's known to the world as Hadraawi. His work is like a mirror, reflecting the entire Somali experience. And his life story, it's pretty much intertwined with the story of modern Somalia itself.
I mean, just look at this journey, from his nomadic roots, to being a political prisoner because of his art, to living in exile and then finally returning as a celebrated figure. His life reflects the struggles, for sure, but also that incredible, enduring spirit of his people. He used words as his weapon, his tool, his everything. Now, Hadrawi's story, as amazing as it is, really just opens a window into this much bigger cultural landscape. It's a scene that is absolutely bursting with energy, even if it is a bit fragmented across different regions and borders. And that's not just my opinion. This quote actually comes from a huge, deep dive report by the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation. They mapped out the entire cultural sector, and what they found wasn't a culture that was dying out. No, they found one with an energy that they called unstoppable. And you can really see that energy everywhere you look. In Mogadishu, for instance, you have theater groups using performance to spark conversations about really tough subjects. You've got workshops where women are using body painting as this powerful form of self-expression. Artists are just constantly finding these new, creative ways to get their stories out there. And this vibrancy, it cuts across every medium you can think of. That ancient tradition of poetry, well, now it's being used as this razor-sharp social satire. A whole new wave of novelists is starting to make a name for themselves. And the music? Traditional music is evolving, fusing with things like Afrobeat and hip-hop to create this sound that's totally new. And don't even get me started on social media. Satirical cartoons are a huge deal. It's this incredible mix of old and new. And here's the thing. This whole renaissance isn't just happening in one country. As you can see on this map, Somali culture is a cross-border thing. It connects communities in Somalia, Somaliland, Ethiopia, and Kenya, all through a shared language, shared poetry, and shared traditions. But, and there's always a but, right? For all its incredible energy, this dynamic scene is facing some really formidable pressures. Pressures that could threaten its very foundation. This table from that SDC report really gets to the heart of the problem. On one side, you have all this amazing creativity, but on the other side, you have a system that is just disconnected and totally undersupported. We're talking about a lack of funding, poor infrastructure to connect artists, and a very real risk that so much cultural heritage could just be lost forever. And for the artists themselves, well, it's a tough reality. They have to navigate this really complex environment. Political suspicion if their work is too critical, a lack of formal arts education, and just the simple grinding struggle to make a living. There just isn't a strong market for physical art. To put that into perspective, an artist who grew up abroad shared this story. They tried to sell a large painting in Hargeisa for $200, but potential buyers thought $50 was more than generous. 50! That just shows you the uphill battle these artists face to create a sustainable living. So, with all these deep-rooted challenges, what's the path forward? Well, the good news is the solutions aren't just guesses. They actually come from researchers who've studied this cultural ecosystem right there on the ground. The report lays out a really clear 4-step strategy. First, start treating culture as essential to development, not some kind of optional extra. Second, build the networks to connect this fragmented scene. Third, you gotta actively work to map and preserve all the heritage that's at risk. And finally, promote all of it, from the most traditional art forms to the most contemporary. And this is a perfect example of why supporting contemporary art is so vital. This painting powerfully shows the horrors of what they call takhrib, or illegal emigration, a massive issue facing young people there. This isn't art that just decorates a wall. It starts a national conversation. It's crucial social commentary. Look, this isn't just about preserving old poems or funding a few painters. As we're about to see, the stakes here are so much higher. This is about the role that culture can play in rebuilding the very fabric of a nation. When you invest in culture, you're investing in society itself. It strengthens the bonds between people, it creates economic opportunities, and it fosters this confident self-image. It lets a nation define itself to the world on its own terms. And maybe most importantly, it offers hope. At the end of the day, it's about supporting and sharing scenes just like this one, a busy afternoon on a beach in Mogadishu. This is a picture of life, of community, of just normalcy and joy. And these are the images that get so lost in that dominant global narrative. Art and culture are what bring this fuller, more human picture to light.
So, ultimately, the story of the Somali cultural renaissance leaves us with a really profound question. In a place that has known so much turmoil, can the artists, the poets, the musicians, the storytellers, can they actually help rewrite the nation's story and shape a whole new future? From everything we're seeing today, it looks like they already are.